Once upon a time, in a world long forgotten, the ancient prophet Enoch was given the gift of sight to see things that no other human could see, the things hidden from the eyes of all mankind. However, Enoch's visions were not always of peaceful and beautiful things. Often, they were filled with darkness and sorrow. One such vision was shown to him by an angel named Uriel. Uriel was a majestic being, with wings that shone like the brightest stars and eyes that held the wisdom of ages. One day, Uriel appeared before Enoch and spoke to him in a voice that resonated with power and authority. "Enoch," Uriel said, "I have something important to show you. It is about the angels who have united with women. These angels, taking many different forms, are corrupting mankind and leading them astray. They teach men to worship demons as gods, and their influence spreads like a plague across the earth." Enoch's heart grew heavy with sorrow as he listened to Uriel's words. He knew that what he was about to witness would be troubling, but he steeled himself and followed Uriel. Uriel led Enoch to a desolate place, a land where the air was thick with darkness and the ground was barren. Here, Uriel explained, the fallen angels were bound, awaiting their final judgment. "Here they shall remain," Uriel continued, "until the day of the great judgment. On that day, they will be judged for their sins and brought to an end." As Enoch looked around, he saw shadows moving in the darkness. These shadows were the spirits of the fallen angels, restless and tormented, unable to escape their fate. "But what of the women?" Enoch asked, his voice barely a whisper. Uriel's eyes grew sad. "The women who were seduced by these angels, who gave birth to their children, have also been cursed. They will become sirens, creatures of the sea who lure sailors to their doom with their beautiful voices." Enoch shuddered at the thought. He had heard tales of sirens, but he had never imagined that their origins were so tragic. These women, who had once been innocent and pure, were now condemned to a life of sorrow and destruction. As Uriel spoke, Enoch saw a vision unfold before him. He saw the wives of the fallen angels, transformed into sirens. They were beautiful beyond measure, with long flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like the ocean. But their beauty was a cruel illusion, hiding the pain and suffering within. The sirens sang songs of such haunting beauty that no man could resist. Sailors, drawn by the enchanting melodies, would steer their ships towards the sirens, only to meet their doom on the jagged rocks hidden beneath the waves. The sirens, once loving wives and mothers, were now instruments of death, their voices a curse that brought only sorrow. Enoch watched in silent horror as the vision played out before him. He saw ship after ship wrecked on the rocks, heard the cries of the doomed sailors, and felt the anguish of the sirens who were powerless to stop their deadly song. In his vision, Enoch saw the end of all things. He saw the great judgment, where the fallen angels would be brought before a mighty tribunal and judged for their sins. He saw the end of their reign of terror and the end of the sirens' curse. But he also saw the enduring pain and suffering that these beings had caused, the lives shattered and the hearts broken. When the vision finally faded, Enoch found himself back in the desolate place with Uriel. The angel's expression was one of deep sorrow and regret. "Why must it be this way?" Enoch asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Uriel placed a comforting hand on Enoch's shoulder. "It is the price of disobedience and corruption. The fallen angels chose to defy the Creator, and in doing so, they brought ruin upon themselves and those they touched. But take heart, Enoch, for there is hope. The great judgment will come, and with it, a new beginning. The pain and suffering will end, and justice will be served." Enoch nodded, though his heart was still heavy. He knew that the road ahead would be long and filled with trials, but he also knew that he had a duty to share what he had seen. He was the only one who had been granted this vision, the only one who could bear witness to the truth. Enoch returned to his people, carrying with him the knowledge of the fallen angels and the tragic fate of their wives. He spoke of the sirens, warning sailors of the dangers that lurked beneath the waves. He told of the great judgment to come, urging his people to remain steadfast and true. In the ancient land of Babylon, a city renowned for its splendor and majesty, the king of the Chaldeans often praised its glory. Babylon was a city of grand palaces, towering walls, and bustling marketplaces. It was the pride of the Chaldean Empire, a beacon of wealth and power that seemed invincible. But one day, a prophet spoke of a different future for this magnificent city, a future that was dark and desolate. Babylon, the prophet declared, which is called glorious by the king of the Chaldeans, will become like Sodom and Gomorrah, which God overthrew in his wrath. The great city will be laid to waste, its splendor turned to ruin. The people listened in shock, unable to fathom such a fate for their beloved city. The prophet's words painted a grim picture of desolation and abandonment. It will not be inhabited forever, he continued, nor will people enter it for many generations. Arabs will not pass through it, and shepherds will not rest in its fields. Instead, wild animals will make their homes there, and the once grand houses will be filled with noise. The prophet's vision became even more eerie as he spoke of the creatures that would inhabit the ruins of Babylon. There, sirens will rest, their mournful songs echoing through the empty streets. Demons will dance in the shadows, celebrating the city's downfall. Donkey centaurs will dwell there, strange and unsettling creatures, and hedgehogs will build their nests in the abandoned houses. As he described this haunting scene, the prophet's voice took on a tone of urgency. This destruction is coming quickly and will not delay. The glory of Babylon will soon be a distant memory, replaced by silence and decay. The people could hardly believe what they were hearing. Babylon, the glorious city of the Chaldeans, reduced to a wasteland where wild animals roamed and supernatural beings found refuge. The vision was a stark contrast to the bustling, vibrant city they knew. Yet the prophet's words were a warning: no matter how powerful, was beyond the reach of divine judgment. The pride and arrogance of Babylon would lead to its downfall, and the once great city would become a symbol of desolation and ruin. In the rich and complex pages of ancient texts, tracing the figure of Naamah in the book of Enoch opens up intriguing possibilities. The figure of Naamah appears in various traditions with differing roles and interpretations, from being a seductress in some accounts to a more redeemable figure in others. In 1 Enoch 19 verse 2, Uriel speaks about the daughters of men whom the angels had seduced, leading to the transgression that ultimately brought about their downfall. The text mentions that the wives of these angels would become sirens, a term that has puzzled scholars. For instance, Michael Black retained the Greek term, sirens, in his translation, noting the challenge of finding a suitable equivalent. He pondered whether the original term might have been something akin to daughters of loveliness, as found in Targum Isaiah 13 verse 21, where desert owls are described attractively. However, there is a compelling argument to be made for reading the original Aramaic as daughters of Naamah. Naamah, a figure with deep roots in various traditions, appears in Gnostic texts as Noria and in Jewish folklore with complex connotations. If 1 Enoch 19 verse 2 indeed refers to the daughters of Naamah, it could suggest a reinterpretation of these figures not solely as seductresses but as beings with a potential for redemption. This interpretation aligns with a minority view in ancient texts, which suggests that these women, who were seen as seduced and corrupted, could ultimately be redeemed. This perspective is supported by scholars like Strumsa and Pearson, who discuss the reaction against the negative portrayal of Naamah. They propose that Gnostic interpretations of figures like Noria might reflect an inversion of earlier negative stereotypes, transforming them into more positive or redeemable characters. If Naamah's presence in 1 Enoch is acknowledged, it could significantly impact our understanding of the text. It would suggest that the dichotomy between the sons of God and the daughters of men has deeper roots in Jewish thought than previously recognized. This division, often interpreted as representing the Sethites and Cainites respectively, would highlight a long-standing narrative of conflict and potential redemption. Moreover, this reading could indicate that the story of Naamah and her daughters in 1 Enoch is not merely a story of seduction and fall but also one of hope and restoration. It would mean that the text preserves an early tradition of seeing these women as capable of redemption, a view that later Gnostic thinkers could have expanded upon rather than merely inverting. The suggestion that 1 Enoch 19:2 originally referred to the daughters of Naamah offers a fresh lens through which to view the text. It highlights an ancient and perhaps original view of these women as more than just seductresses, potentially redeemable and integral to the unfolding human divine drama. This perspective enriches our understanding of the complex interactions between angels and humans in early Jewish thought and sets the stage for later Gnostic reinterpretations. Thank you for watching.